Top 10 Most Corrupt Presidents in Africa 2025. For decades, corruption has plagued Africa like a relentless disease, draining its resources and hindering its development. Despite gaining independence, many African nations continue to struggle with widespread corruption, which has kept them from reaching their full potential. At the heart of this problem are leaders who prioritize personal enrichment, securing power and benefiting their inner circles over the welfare of their citizens. Recently, the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project (OCCRP) released an extensive report exposing some of the most corrupt leaders in the world. OCCRP is one of the largest investigative journalism organizations in the world. Headquartered in Amsterdam and with staff across 6 continents, they spread and strengthen investigative journalism around the world and expose crime and corruption so the public can hold power to account. Unsurprisingly, several African presidents found themselves prominently featured. In today's video, we'll be exploring some of the most corrupt African presidents according to the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project (OCCRP) and based on allegations, scandals and investigations that have surfaced over the years. This list is in no particular order as corruption manifests in different ways across various regimes. Stay tuned as we uncover these leaders. Emmerson Mnangagwa has been serving as the president of Zimbabwe since 2017 after clinching the top seat through a military coup. Since becoming the president, he has been implicated in several corruption cases, leading to widespread criticism and international sanctions. According to reports, Mnangagwa is linked to gold smuggling operations by protecting gold and diamond smugglers, creating a corrupt network that deprives Zimbabwe of valuable resources. During the COVID-19 pandemic, President Emmerson's son, Collins Mnangagwa, was involved in a procurement scandal of personal protective equipment worth $60 million, raising questions about the president's indirect involvement in the matter. These cases, among others, have placed the Zimbabwe president among the most corrupt leaders on the continent. Salva Kiir of South Sudan. Salva Kiir has been the president of South Sudan since the country gained independence from Sudan in 2011. During his tenure, he has been linked to allegations of corruption, primarily through investigations into the opaque nature of the South Sudanese government. Direct evidence linking Kiir personally to corruption cases is often murky. Nonetheless, in 2012, President Kiir admitted that his government had embezzled about $4 billion of public resources since independence. Credible reports by the Century alleged that President Kiir and his inner circle have massively benefited from the misappropriation of oil funds through the diversion of oil revenues. Money intended for public use is often directed to private accounts or used to fund patronage networks. Kiir has always been involved in several other scandals, including an arms deal scandal, land and property acquisitions, nepotism and favoritism. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda. President Museveni is one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled Uganda since 1986, after clinching the top seat through a military coup. During his long tenure, Uganda has experienced very little infrastructural and economic growth, raising questions about where the country's resources are disappearing. Museveni himself has been linked to several corruption cases, including alleged bribery by a Chinese energy conglomerate, a deal that also involved several Uganda officials. The bribe was to help the Chinese firm secure business advantages for China's energy sector. Several corruption cases has also been reported in Museveni's government, such as the embezzlement scandal in the office of the Prime Minister in 2012. However, the failure of action by the president has always raised questions about whether he is involved. Museveni has also been accused of manipulating the judiciary to extend his long stay in power. Ismail Omar Guelleh of Djibouti. Ismail is also one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled Djibouti since 1999. During his tenure, the Djiboutian president has faced numerous allegations of corruption that have led to widespread poverty and human rights abuses in the country. In 2015, Guelleh was summoned to testify in a British court in a corruption case that accused his former ally, Abdurrahman Bore, of terrorism and corruption in Djibouti. Credible reports indicate that Guelleh and his family have amassed enormous wealth by controlling the country's resources and strategic assets, such as the country's ports and revenues from the existence of several military bases. Several international organizations have consistently criticized the Djiboutian government for corruption and lack of transparency due to the lack of independent media and the targeting of journalists and government critics. Isaias Afwerki of Eritrea. Isaias is also one of the longest-serving African presidents, having ruled Eritrea since 1993 when the country gained independence from Ethiopia. During his tenure, Eritrea has experienced significant corruption challenges as power is concentrated within the executive branch, with the president at the top. In Eritrea, the government controls all the country's resources and foreign exchanges, leading to little private investment and low government salaries, which encourage widespread corruption. Though it is evident that the president is involved in corruption through the network he has created, the lack of press freedom and government transparency makes it difficult to document specific corruption cases in which he has been involved in. Denis Sassou Nguesso of Republic of Congo. Denis has ruled the Republic of Congo since 1997. During his long term as president, he has faced numerous legal actions and allegations of corruption and embezzlement of public resources involving him and his family. The Sassou Nguesso family has been implicated in several international corruption cases, including the acquisition of numerous luxury properties in France, the United States, and Switzerland using embezzled public funds. The president and his family have been a central focus of the Biya's mal-acquis investigations, which scrutinize the acquisition of assets by foreign leaders through illicit means. Paul Biya of Cameroon. At the age of 91, Paul Biya is the oldest African president and the second longest-serving African leader, having ruled Cameroon since 1982. During his long tenure in office, Paul Biya has been involved in numerous corruption cases and controversies. According to reports, the Cameroonian president spends most of his time abroad and is often on private trips, wasting taxpayers' money. Biya and his family have been accused of extravagant expenditures, while the majority of Cameroonians languish in poverty. Having been in office for such a long period, he has managed to create a network of high-ranking government officials who do his bidding while he protects them by suppressing corruption investigations. Teodoro Obiang Nguesso of Equatorial Guinea. Ruto is currently the longest-serving African president, having ruled Equatorial Guinea since 1979. During his long tenure in office, he has faced several corruption investigations involving misuse of public funds. The investigations have also targeted his son, Teodoro Obiang Nguesso, who has been serving as the country's vice president since 2016. Obiang and his family have amassed significant wealth in the oil-rich country, while the majority of the population lives in extreme poverty. He has been accused of money laundering and using state resources to maintain his grip on power. Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu became Nigeria's president in May 2023, but allegations of corruption have surrounded him for decades. Before becoming president, he was the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007, during which time he was accused of amassing vast wealth through questionable means. Tinubu has been linked to allegations of money laundering and illicit financial dealings. His name appeared in U.S. court documents related to drug trafficking investigations, and in 1993, he forfeited $460,000 to U.S. authorities due to alleged ties to narcotics proceeds. Despite denying these accusations, his financial dealings and control over key economic sectors in Nigeria have raised concerns. As president, Tinubu's administration has faced growing criticism over economic hardships and controversial policies, with some accusing him of using his influence to protect corrupt individuals within his government. William Ruto of Kenya. William Ruto, who became Kenya's president in 2022, has a long history of corruption allegations dating back to his days as a cabinet minister. He has been accused of land grabbing, questionable wealth accumulation, and involvement in shady deals that have drained public resources. One of the most infamous cases linked to Ruto is the Westin Hotel land scandal, where he allegedly acquired public land illegally. Additionally, his name has been mentioned in major corruption cases such as the Aro and Kimware Dam scandal, where billions of shillings meant for infrastructure projects vanished. Despite positioning himself as a champion of the hustler movement, Ruto has been accused of enriching himself and his close allies while Kenya struggles with rising debt and economic instability. His presidency has faced backlash due to increased taxation and controversial government appointments that critics say favor political cronies over competence.